All right. If anybody would like me to wait until everybody clicks the OK button, I can start. Why is that doing that? There we go. Hit the wrong button. So this is the author's guide to social media, and it's really leveraging your social media footprint to build your author brand. Today I'm going to talk about algorithms and engagement. I did send Mel a really quick little snippet about how to train the algorithm. What I'm going to do also is I'll upload that again because your reels look different on your phone than they do on your computer and laptop. So I'll also cover this several times throughout this session. Not today, but like the whole year. So it will be so we can work toward, well, I don't even know how to say it. So we can work for getting your algorithm correct. I was speaking with Dee Lorenzo today, and she and I are we're working together independently, and she's had her Instagram since 2016, and she's like, it's just not doing it for me. So we have a whole other plan for that. So depending on where you're sitting, it might take a little bit longer than if someone would just, start with Instagram. So really what we're going to focus on today is engagement. And I don't know many of you because you're new, and welcome to Mastermind and welcome to my seminar. I'm Kara Zone. I have been in ghostwriting in the indie publishing world for since 2019. I've helped produce over 100 books. That includes ghostwriting, that includes publication, formatting, everything. Not most of the clients, but many of the clients that I were working with, they gave up because they weren't getting the traction that they needed, and they refused to do social media. They refused to market anywhere else except Facebook or Amazon, which I've heard Amazon marketing is a nightmare, but I don't have that experience. And they couldn't find the right groove, and unfortunately they ran out of money. But social media is a really, really good opportunity to grow things organically. So I am an indie publishing consultant. I'm a writing coach, and I help my clients create the best stories for their voice, their ideas, and brand. I love helping people find their voice, and I love sharing all of the information I've learned since 2019. Before I started doing my own stuff, which I did in 2024, I was writing my first novel under my name. I was doing all of the hard, indie publishing work. Um, and it's a delight. But it's worth it. I hadn't been on social media since 2010. I took a master class on Instagram. It wasn't a master class for indie publishing, though. It was a master class for a very generalized audience. I apologize if I'm repeating this for those of you who know me. I'm going to talk a little bit faster to avoid the redundancy. But because it was more generalized, I had to learn what worked for books and what worked for indie publishing. So I did. I started poking around in May of 2024. I didn't really touch it a whole lot until July. And then I started really pushing it. You'll see my numbers will come in, and I'll walk you through that a little bit because my numbers go up, my engagement goes up the longer I've been on and the more that I found my right footing. And this is why I want to share it with you, because I don't want to see anybody else give up. It's an important dream, and everybody can do it. They just have to find what's right for them. Uh, excuse me, that was loud. I don't want you to do it like me. I want to give you the tools and the methods that work for any visibility campaign, so you'll make it your own. Romance authors are different than fantasy authors. Romantasy is different than fantasy. Romantasy is fantasy and romance. It is different than just regular romance. There's contemporary romance. We're writers. We all know our different genres. I'm going to help you gain insights on how to use the tools that I share to help you build your brand. So my suggestion is to find a social media platform that you like being on. I tried doing some stuff on LinkedIn. I flipping hate LinkedIn. I don't like it. Not that I actually have a colleague who is successful in fiction on LinkedIn. Don't know how. Don't want to know. But if anybody else is interested, I can always connect you guys. But you have to separate your time. When you separate your time between multiple platforms, it can be really overwhelming, and ultimately you won't be able to put enough energy into any of them. So I always look at that. So find what works for you. Some people really like TikTok. TikTok actually works. It's a little bit more flexible than Instagram and the algorithm, but not always. And since we don't know, TikTok is up in the air, and I know that there are a whole host of new social media campaign or social media platforms that are sprouting up, and I don't know any of them because I really like Instagram. I like Instagram because you can connect it with Facebook and Threads. You can do all of your work in Facebook in the Meta Business Suite. You can respond to comments, you can track your demographics, you can track your stats, you can do all of that. I post in Facebook and Threads because my Instagram will let me do that. I gave it the permissions, but I don't engage in Facebook very often unless it's to come to Anchors and to gain ARC members, ARC members. I have been to Threads 3 times, and it's only because Instagram told me that somebody had mentioned me, and they did. And it was a book review from an ARC member. So that was really cool. But that's as far as I've gone into it. I've thanked them. I went back to Instagram. They left the same one on Instagram. So I think a lot of people are doing that since it's fairly new. I think it's like a year and a half or 2 years new. So we're going to focus on engagement today. For social media, engagement refers to an interaction and participation of users with published content on any social media platform. This is verbatim. I got it offline. I was going to talk about aesthetics also today, but I think I'm going to focus that on in the March content because aesthetics are a little bit different than focusing on engagement. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here for it. So I did talk about the algorithm in session 1, but the algorithm is a mathematical calculation that sites such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. uses to build user habits and customize the social experience for you. Why that's really cool is because you can literally find your people by training the algorithm in Instagram and Facebook and all of those things. I started in July, really pushing it and starting to like poke and see what could happen. I found this amazing writing community who are all 35 to 45 years old. They all started in July. We're basically all romantasy people, fantasy people. And they're really, really cool. And when we started putting that together, that's sort of like the algorithm putting us in the same place. We're all moms, like we all work other jobs, those kinds of things. So it was really interesting. I'm still not thinking that it's creepy because I purposefully trained it to find these people. But it did, and they've been really supportive. They helped out. I've helped them out. It's a really good environment. So finding friends. I am going to give a quick tutorial on how to find friends. I did do this a little bit also for Mel, which I will put that out. Did I say that already, Mel? I'm sorry. Okay. So this is my Instagram feed. Can everybody see it? Thumbs up. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, so these guys are actually really fun. They do zombie books though. I'm not a zombie author. But we have kind of a really cool discourse, and they introduced me to a couple of authors. So that's really cool. These aren't my people though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my post, and I'm gonna look at my people. So this will be the first thing to do. Now I know Lauren, she and we talk a lot. I don't know when she started, but you can see she has 575 followers. She's following 446 people, and she's got 224 posts. I know her. I'm just going to show you her for that purpose. So I'm going to go to her page, and I'm going to click on her. So right here, I see she's a writer of fantasy romance. She writes Open Door. Her book is coming out in 2025. She is an indie publisher. We've talked about that. You wouldn't know that from this, but I'm just telling you because, again, we talk. This is all of the different stuff that you can put in your bio, which I will actually probably work again in March as well. That is in the first session, though. I kind of give a general overview. So she doesn't have a lot of engagement. So I'm pretty sure she just started. But what I want to do is I want to click on one of her things, posts. So Cozy Writing Dragon. She's you hover over there and you can see she's got 139 posts, 1133 followers, and 1169 she's following. So she's active. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on hers. And I know that she is a Cozy Writing Dragon. Oh, I already follow her. But she's a Cozy Writing Dragon, so I'm going to automatically assume she's fantasy. I don't really have to dig too much deeper in that. So what I'll do is I'll go around and I'll like some of her posts. And I'll do that so they can see that I'm interested in engaging with them. And something that's really pretty cool about Instagram, again, kind of weird because, but kind of cool also, is that when you DM somebody, their post starts to show up in your feed, or when you are active on somebody's posts or reels for a certain amount of time, they start showing in your feed. Now, the masterclass that I took, they encouraged people to do this for no more than 10 minutes a day. I actually think that it's pretty quick once you start getting used to it. I'm sorry, my cat's trying to jump up on my lap. And once you get used to it, I would say probably 5 to 7 minutes max. But I would read this and see she's doing her introduction. So I would read it. And since I actually haven't commented on this, I'll go through and, these are random facts from her. She's wanted to be a writer since the 4th grade. So I will just type in here. And then she'll start to see that I am more active on her, posts. So not only will Instagram start letting me see her stuff, but she'll start seeing my stuff also. I think somebody just came in. I'm going to check and see. Okay. I think I got her. And so that's really where we'll go ahead and you can start really forming the algorithm in that way, and you're actually actively engaging with these people. You don't have to do it with everybody, but if you find somebody that's kind of right up your alley, it's really, really good to do. She's Cozy Writing Dragon, so she's fantasy, obviously, but cozy fantasies are very different than, other kind of fantasies. So there might be a little bit of crossover there, but I did have someone who was into cozy fantasies read one of my novels because I gave away a free novella. And she told me that she did not like certain words that my characters were saying. And I was like, I'm not surprised. You probably shouldn't have read it. But, so really, but she still liked the book. She just didn't like, there's some curse words and some specific genitalia used. And so, you know, unfortunately, we all know that like reviewers are going to review things the way that they review things, and certain people are going to like certain things. However, I would engage with her just because she is fantasy. Um, and it's really sweet. So she does have a little bit more engagement than Lauren does. So there's Lauren, and then here's she is a writer. She's got 38 followers. She's following a lot less people, and she's got 74 posts. So a good rule of thumb is to keep those kind of balanced, because if people see that you have 1,000 followers, but you're following 7,000 people, they're going to suspect something's wrong. So try to keep that in the range. Also, if you are doing this little tip or trick or exercise, I'm not really sure what to call it, this practice daily for a little while, you can't go over 7,000 people either. We just found out that this week. We were floored. But also, don't follow more than 40 people in an hour, or Instagram will put you in what everybody calls it, Instagram jail. They'll ban you from commenting and liking for suspicious activity. Similarly, you can't unfollow 40 people in an hour, because that will also alert the spam bots. Not sure why. Sometimes you just got to get rid of people. Just a heads up. It used to be 60, now it's 40. So if it changes, and it probably will, just you can let everybody know. Or but there was a short time where a lot of people in my engagement group kept getting put in jail because they were like, we don't know why. And they were cleaning out all of their like spam bots and inactive accounts. But you will get put into Instagram jail or some kind of social media jail at least once. And again, I'll probably talk more about that in the next session. Not when Lena's coming for the guest speaker, but in March. So I'm going to stop right now, and does anybody have any questions about this before I move on? You can put them in the chat, or you can just raise your hand, or you can just shout it out. All right. Just let me know if you have anything. So that's sort of how you find friends. And I would recommend doing it for about 10 minutes to start. Again, if your Instagram account has been there since 2016, it's going to take a little bit longer to get that algorithm training everything. I used to, when I had my Instagram account and I started using it, and I think in 2022, I loved looking at animal friends, unique animal friends, and people dancing. And even though I've totally like honed my my algorithm to this, once in a while I'll still get people dancing to weird music. Like Michael from Halloween will come up and he's dancing in high heels and stuff, and I'm like, okay. So that's still like an echo of my past, but it's pretty weird. So that's for finding friends. You guys are welcome to reach out to me afterwards. I have an email address in here for any other questions. So there are 5 types of engagement I'm going to talk about. There's comments, there's likes, there's sharing. Yes, this is sharing. There's saving, and then there are DMs. So yeah, so comments. I'm going to show you this real quick. I don't think you can hear it. So, excuse me. So here is what I wrote in my post. They're here. I finally got my freaking print books. That was a nightmare. And I was like, finally. And this is just sort of like, have you forgotten something? I'm going to always recommend asking a question of the day to get engagement, but I'll go over that some other time. So this is what I'm showing right now. These are how many comments I have in my, well, I can actually just take you there, but these are messages left on your post. They can be initiated by questions of the day, like I said. However, I'm also going to say that you responding to these are just as important as people responding to you. So once you go in, the more you engage with your posts, with the people commenting on them, the more Instagram will know that you're active. I know that that sounds probably time consuming. I've actually started just coming to Instagram to post comments to people like 20 minutes a day because I got totally sucked in. And like I said, the people that I'm meeting here are wonderful. It's not there's no bullying. Well, there's bullying, but I haven't found the people that are like hardcore bullies. There's no you know, they're they're my people. But so you see I have 141 likes and 67 comments. So when I go on, this is Scarlett, she's silly. And then she says, "Hey, that's so exciting. They look amazing." And then I write back, "Thank you so much. You're beautiful." Just because that's the relationship she and I have built. And again, it's, "Hey, they're exciting. It's so pretty." Then she writes back to me, "Thank you. You too." So sometimes people will not come back to comment. That's okay. But the people that do come back to comment, that's constantly pushing up your engagement rate. Um, so this is Crystal. She is actually just an ARC reader, I believe. I haven't seen her stuff. I know her from actually, they're called engagement groups, which I'm going to talk about too. She's in this romance one. Super sweet. She is. But the romance leans a little dark. So as soon as I can back away from them, I will a little bit, not because they're a bad group or anything like that, just because that's not my genre. But right now, it's really helping me sort of pump up my engagement. So Crystal writes, "These are beautiful." And I say, "Oh, yes, I'm ready for the warmer weather too." Oh, wait, she's left a whole bunch of stuff. I just say, "Thank you. I hope you're having a nice day." She came back and said, "It hasn't been too bad. She's just cold and tired of the snow." Oh, yes. So we're just actually having a conversation on here. And again, it bumps up your engagement rate. And this was just talking about weather. So it was just something, you kind of know who's going to talk to you and you kind of know who's not, but it's never a personal thing because honestly, people might just be busy that day or they might just have some extra time on it. So you can see like it's going to constantly keep going. Angela and I were talking today too. There's 5 comments. So every single time you respond back to somebody, there's an opportunity for them to respond back to you. So that's part of the engagement. And a bonus is that you are building genuine connections with these people. I know that some of you know what happened with my novella. And again, I apologize for the repetition. I wrote a free novella to start getting emails. And I used BookFunnel. And I was getting I was getting emails from BookFunnel. I was advertising the free book on my Instagram page because if they signed up for it, they got my newsletter and they wanted it. They knew what was coming. And I talked about it in my newsletter. And one of my well, she's an ARC reader, but she's she emails me a lot too, so we talk about a whole bunch of stuff now. But the first time she reached out to me, she was like, "Hey, I see an Accidental Fairy Tales on Goodreads. Is it on Fable?" And I was like, "No, it can't be on Goodreads. It just can't be. It doesn't have an identification number. It's not in Amazon. It's not in any distribution. It's literally only in BookFunnel." But somebody read it, liked it enough, put it on Goodreads. Don't know how they did it. Still to this day. This happened in November. And people started reviewing it. And I told my group with it. I told my group with it. I actually made a post about it because I was like, "Thank you for whoever did that. This is weird. I don't know how it happened." And then people started going over there and reviewing it because they saw my story and because they know me. So, while it's not a lot, I'm not pushing it that much. You know, my novella, who's not supposed to be reviewed at all, has like 37 reviews and it's growing. Um, so it was just a random side effect of being in the book community. So it's just unexpected things can happen. I actually get people interested in having me on podcasts. I just had someone reach out to me yesterday. He lives in Australia, Sydney, I think. He's like, "Hey, I see you're an author. Let's do this podcast." So we're setting something up there. I did an Instagram live with an author. Oh, she's not an author. She is an editor. And she like interviewed Megan Quinn on her stuff. So she actually had a panel of us do some fantasy talking. It was really fun. It was really great. Um, I met Christine. She and I are going to do an Instagram live on Friday, and we're just going to start talking about indie publishing. She's going the traditional publishing route. She has 2 agents interested in her. So we're just going to kind of talk about the similarities and the differences there. Because I found this group, I actually there's posts called collaborative posts, and all of these people connect all of their different posts together, so it's killing a couple of birds, right? It's hitting a bird. Sorry for that. So you're hitting one bird with the not you won't have necessarily, like, I don't need to come up with a post or content that day because we're all posting the same thing. And you're also going to get a lot more hits because you're doing it together. So there's 2 engagement rate thingies right there. I hope that makes sense. So that is really the importance of comments. And again, this might not be the right avenue you want to take. It did take a lot of time in the beginning, but now because my algorithm is trained and I know the people that I know and everything like that, you'll see like this actually just got posted today, but this got posted yesterday. I'm getting 200 likes, over 150 likes every time. Most of my stuff is like a 67%, or sorry, 67, 77 content, excuse me, comments and different things. I want to show you something really quick because Instagram did put me in jail. Still don't know why, but they did. But you can see what happened because this woman started reviewing my book too, An Accidental Fairy Tale. That was another weird side effect of it. Again, my book I did not expect it to be reviewed, but it has been reviewed several times over. She does it in Spanish. I have other people who are reviewing my book from around the world, and it's really, really cool and really, really bizarre because it was never supposed to happen. But it does. So it's weird and nice. So I got put into Instagram jail when I was really starting to take off. You can see I was starting to hit 170, close to 180. Most of these 242, 150. And then I got put into jail. And you'll see that I don't even remember when it was, but my numbers like dove. And I can't remember where it was. Oh, here. No, I guess not. But I'll show you. I'll look about that for next week with or next month with the content. But there's a weird, like I was hitting 170 to 200 likes, got thrown in jail, and then like my engagement rate tanked. And it was not really tanked because I was still doing like 130 likes, 50% comments and stuff like that. But I still don't know why I got put in jail. So again, we'll talk about that in a different session. So that is really where I like commenting. And again, you don't have to spend a lot of time commenting on other people's stuff or your stuff. You can, you can save, a certain amount of time to do it. I will say that once you find your people and you find everything, I had to train myself not to be on Instagram all the time because I actually hated social media for a long time. And I forgot that. And I don't hate social media anymore. I totally understand why it's important. But I got sucked into that thing that people talk about. So I'm much better at regulating my time now. So it's just something to constantly be, aware of. So then the next thing we have are likes. Likes are just likes. People see the amount of people who like your comment, they like what they see. And granted, there are places like engagement groups, which I will still talk about in a little bit, where people will give you likes because that's what you're supposed to do. But again, focusing on engagement, the more likes you have, the more accounts you're going to get, the more views, the more people you're going to possibly have the opportunity to get interact with and get your voice out of there. So yeah, see the last few I had 190 here, 194, 199 likes. So and my comments aren't too bad there either, but again, I push comments. So it's again, my algorithm is starting to kick up to a new level, which I'm really excited about. Oh, that happened. All right. That wasn't supposed to happen. It just made me a new slide. I'm going to delete that. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to change it. So this is not likes. This is sharing. And when people like what you have and it's some kind of really, really cool thing that resonates with them, they'll share it to to their stories. So this is the little icon for share everywhere, I believe. So here I have people, and I'm going to show you on my Instagram in 1 second. I have a new post, and what you do with stories a lot is you thank people for doing what they do. So I have a lot of people who are reviewing my novel right now, and they'll tag me. So I'll be able to share it to my stories to say thank you. And, it'll boost their engagement, and then it'll boost my engagement at the same time because we'll get some cross-pollination. You can see here, or I hope you can, this one has gotten 3 shares, which I thought was pretty cool. Since I've kicked back up into a new level, I haven't really not had people sharing my post, which sometimes are just people who I'm, genuinely connected with and who genuinely I interact with them on a daily basis and they want to support me. I do the same thing for them. So some of that is another unexpected, perk. Somebody, so this collab that we did, and that was just 2 days ago, 13 people shared my post. 7 people shared this post. I don't believe that I have the shares situated. This is from the Instagram Live. No. So in these, this is different on the phone. So you can view your insights. You can see that 12 people shared my character arc. Nobody saved it, which is fine. Saving is, I'll talk about that in a second. But this is sort of like it got played 894 times. That means that 894 people liked it, or one person really, really, really liked it and watched it a lot. It's not me. And the first plays that they got were 668, and then people replayed it 200 times. So I guess it was 600 people who watched it, and then they replayed it to get 894. So that's just something to keep track of too. We did this really cool collaboration and it got shared like almost I think it was like 430 times or something and we were floored. We were like, how does that even happen? But there are really random things that will happen online that sometimes it's not explainable. Um, but it's just content that strikes people or somebody wanting to support you. Sharing is cool. Oh, I forgot to show you this. So sharing is cool. And it doesn't really do much for your engagement because people can either heart it or they send a comment and the comment goes straight to your DM. And the important thing about DMs is that when you get the DMs, they start showing up on your feed and you start showing up on their feed more often. So that's really where it is. But that's really why, you engage with things. So see when I have a little purple circle or colorful circle, that means that all of my stories are new or I put in a new story. So this has 4, somebody tagged me. There's funky little things that people do together and they just tag you and they're like, it's your turn. So then I would go and say, oh, this or that. So I would pick one and then I would tag 5 people. And that again kind of boosts your engagement rate. I'll talk a little bit about that in the next one too. I'm sorry. We're running out of time. So this person gave me a 4-star review. I put Grover there. I put a thank you there. I'll explain how to do that. With more content. So this is my friend. Actually, this is Lena. Lena is the faceless account. So I know a lot of people don't like showing their faces. They don't want to show their faces. Lena is going to talk about this next on February 26th, how to be a faceless account and still be an indie publisher and still be successful. She had like 400 and some odd ARC readers signed up in like a 200 or a 2-month span of time, and she doesn't show her face. And yeah, she's got a really great strategy. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. She's really cool. So those are stories, and that's where shares go when people share your stuff. So that's the sharing, and then the finding friends, and then the saves. I haven't really noticed anything exciting about saves. Saves basically mean that people liked your content enough and they want to come back to look at it. I haven't seen that it actually boosts any engagement numbers or anything like that. You know, I saved this woman's because she does really cool stuff. And she paints pictures of books that she shows that she reads and she wants to do these kinds of things. I actually do follow her. Sometimes Instagram is weird. And she's one of my ARC readers now. So I saved this one. This is Lena again, because I loved her artist. And I wanted to find out who her artist was and come back to it. It was Spooky Yet Art. Yeti Art. So I found character illustrators through this way too. And I follow her as well. I don't know. Instagram's being weird. So these are all just like different things. Here's another book review. So that's pretty cool. The last thing that I forgot and didn't put here are tags. People will tag you and you can collab and you can't collab. Like you don't have to accept it. So all of these all of these posts are where people mention my name. I don't know how many there are at this point, but my cover reveal post went crazy. It was really cool. People did a lot of things I did not expect. And these are all ARC readers. So these are all people who are talking about my book. And anywhere it says ARC, you can do that. And you can see there's another person that is reviewing my novella that was never supposed to be reviewed. So these are, again, all of these people are showing my stuff and showing their audience my books. And this is all through organic growth. I did not pay for marketing. I did pay Inkspire to help me find more influencers since they had a host of them, but they didn't do like it wasn't like a full-blown tour or anything like that. They connected me with their ARC people. So that's just something to keep in mind also. My I feel weird saying this. My covers are like down further than I thought. So again, saves are fine. I wouldn't go after saves. I do think that if you save the wrong thing, it will count. It will start untraining your algorithm the way that it is, and it'll start doing some weird things. I was in an engagement group where you had to like, comment, share, and save the posts. And when I stopped saving their posts, because there was a woman who wrote poetry and there was a woman who wrote nonfiction. It was called How to Suck. So it was, or How to Suck Less. So it was all of these weird, like helpful, how-to tips, which had nothing to do with me. So when I left that group, I noticed that my engagement rate went back up because I'm finding the right people. So the direct messages, I actually talked about them a little bit, and I won't go into any of my personal direct messages. And I really wanted to do something cool because I wanted somebody to DM me and then see if my posts popped up on your feed, because that's what I'm noticing. And I'm positive it would be to you, but I don't think we need to do that today. So, but it's a really, really cool like thing. So right now, these are my DMs, and this is my engagement group. This is an engagement group. This is my writing group. This is like my tribe. There's one thing called one bed and one horse. So Lena actually pulled together a whole bunch of romantasy people, and technically I'm not romantasy, but readers are starting to peg it as romantasy anyway. They're going to do what they're going to do. So she made this little side group. And these are all, oh, this is the guy from Australia who wants to meet with me and do that. So these are just all my people. And usually Amanda and I don't, she writes cozy fantasy. And so we're a little bit different. And so when I message her, she usually pops up on my feed. But if I don't message her, it's the same thing for her. Like we kind of have to seek each other out because she's a really cool person. She lives in Norway, I think. So that's really about the DMing. If you want, I can show you really quickly like how to DM. Usually on a laptop, you can either just go into where it says messages right here, or you can just click on, I'll just go to Jen's. This is Jen. She's the woman who told me that my novella was on Goodreads. So you would just come to a person's page and you would just click message. And then it would take you to the message board where you can start having a private conversation. But again, DMs are really important for engagement. Not only are you building a genuine connection with people, but you are also training your algorithm. One thing I want to mention is people will reach out to you and tell you that they want to get you a lot of likes, but you have to give them money. Don't use them. Don't pay for likes ever. There's no reason to. And those people will get you a ton of likes in one sitting, but none of those people either are real or will engage with any of your stuff again. So focus on engagement. Comments allow you to interact with your followers, you build relationships with them, you find author support, and you actually grow a fan base too. I'm really excited because more people are finding me because they liked my book. So it's weird, but it's also nice. So again, I already talked a little bit about this, and you're giving. Oh, this is funny. So I didn't know this happened, and again, it's sort of like that happened kind of thing. And I asked people because I was like, this is really weird. Some of the readers will actually be reading the book real time and they'll start DMing you their thoughts. So when it first started happening to me, I thought she was joking. She's like, be prepared to get spammed because she already liked, again, my novella. And I was like, all right, okay, yeah, that'll be fine. But she literally sent me stuff while she was reading. And she wasn't the only one. Like, these are readers who want to engage and interact with you. I had no idea how to react at first. I reached out to Lena because she launched her book in December. And she has the faceless account. So, and she's doing really well. Anyway, still surprising, December. And I'm like, what do you say to these people? And she was like, oh, you just go like, oh, I know, or and I blame it on this character or something like that. Because when you engage with them, number one, I hate to keep saying it, I'm sorry, but you are building that connection with that reader, but you are also telling the algorithm, hey, make sure that I show up in this person's feed as well. Yeah, I told you about likes. I do like likes. Likes are good, but don't buy them. And then again, like I said, shares and saves are also good, but they don't do what comments and DMing can do for you the way that they do it. So book launch strategy. I actually have a book launch strategy I'm going to share with you guys in today's assets, but because I am fantasy and I learned how to make a map with the help of my Instagram followers or my Instagram, my Instagram friends. You can do map reveals, cover reveals. This person has a street team. She's done 11 slides of street team. She's also found all of her street team members from Instagram and Facebook. So she's going to be on too. Her name is Lexi, but that'll be like in July. Beta reader feedback. This was really fun. I didn't know that this was a thing. And you can't hear the song, but that's fine. This is my next novella that's coming out. And then this is actually a post that you can do. You don't tell them what it's about. You just post the beta reader stuff. And this is just stuff that one of my beta readers said while she was reading. And so it was fun. But people do that all the time. Like, that's kind of stuff that I wouldn't even have thought about. I don't know that ChatGPT would have thought about, or any other AI, any other AI. This is something that I learned that fantasy readers do, probably all authors. I didn't mean readers, I did mean writers. So probably all authors. And then, I showed you the cover art reveal. There's a ton of stuff you can do. And if you get this PowerPoint and you can't get into the folder, which everybody should be able to, but let me know if not, you can just click this button. It'll take you right to the campaign review. Because I'm running long, I'm going to not take you there, but I'm going to open everything up for Q&A. And thank you so much for listening and everything.
I have a question.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. My Instagram is kind of all over the place. I've had it for quite a few years, and I started out kind of just liking and I'll send my husband like funny videos I see, so I have a lot of things on there that aren't book related. And then I have an author and a voiceover friend that we have a group chat, and we send each other just funny videos all the time that are not book related. So does that mean that that's like messing everything up?
Might be. It depends on. So I'm pretty specific, and the master class I took was pretty specific. Like, make your brand Instagram page your brand Instagram page. So depending on what you're seeing in your feed and who you're interacting with, there may be an opportunity for you to train it in a different way. It's very possible that one chat, like if you're in a group, probably isn't going to mess everything up to share videos and stuff. But if it's like a whole bunch of other things with a whole bunch of other people, I would say that is that might be yes. That would.
And when you brought up the share or saving things, like I have recipes saved. So that means that I should probably unsave the recipes and that.
I would keep your books. I'm gonna say it, and I never thought I would. I would keep your Bookstagram stuff to be your Bookstagram stuff. Like for your author Instagram, I would keep that. You know, what do you write?
Sci-fi fantasy.
Oh, that's awesome. I love sci-fi. And I love
Oh,
fantasy.
I just followed you while we were on here.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll follow you back too. And so yeah, I would keep it mostly sci-fi fantasy. I actually looked into my algorithm the other day and I don't know what I looked at, but it like totally shifted everything. So I have to retrain my algorithm to just sort of focus on fantasy and indie authors and well not indie authors, but authors in general and writing stuff because it started showing me like well, yeah, it got really weird. So I don't even remember. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Good.
I'll work on training it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Really quickly, I had a you mentioned an author that was going to be speaking later this month. You said her name was Lena.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know her full name or do you have her full name?
Lena Kazik is her, I believe that's her author name, but I actually have a little bit of information on her too. Do you know Lena?
No, but I'm faceless for the most part, and so I'm just
Oh,
curious to see
good.
her Instagram before she comes on.
I actually, do you have access? I have a like a newsletter and stuff. I can share that with you too. Like that information will come up in the newsletter, and then I can actually just share it in the chat if you'd like to look for her. Um, also, I can just
Sure.
I'll go to her page. She actually is an editor too, and her editor page is completely faceless as well. So, and she does really, really cool things that where she's still on camera, but you still don't see her face. She's kind of, I don't know, she's kind of freaking brilliant. I love her. And she's super sweet and just all kinds of really cool things. Mm-hmm. Let me know. It, oh, no, what is that? Oh boy. All right. Once I stop sharing, I will get you her name. I'm sorry. But
There. Thank you.
what's that? So she actually she this is sort of like her thing. There'll be links to her Instagram and to her newsletter. Her newsletter is actually just romantasy driven. So it's not going to be about the faceless account. That was sort of like, "Hey Lena, you should do this. You're successful." And she's like, "All right," cuz you know. But she has an Etsy store. She's got a LinkedIn or a linked tree. She's doing everything. Um, so yeah, you can sign up for the visibility workshop email updates. It's not like a huge email. I send out a one at the beginning of the month, one at the Friday before the seminar, just as a reminder, and then one during the Wednesday that it's coming, just so you guys have easy access. So I can put that in the chat also. I do a free consultation if anybody wants to talk for free for 45 minutes. I can give you that link or I can share it, or this will also be in the assets folder. So that's about as much as I have. Uh, those are all my slides. So let me give you Lena's. I'll send that over. Why is it doing that? It just keeps saying that there's no participants in the, oh, that's why. I figured it out. Okay. So that's Lena's link. Did you guys have any other questions? All right. Thank you so much for coming. There is going to be a recording. I will put the transcript and the recording into the folder. Technically, this is not really a mastermind course, but so it's not in the mastermind like dashboard, but it is through, I'm in Mastermind and always. But I have everything in a Google folder. That's my point. But thank you guys again for coming. Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.